Hello everybody, it is Alex for RCG Blade, and I'm going to be making a series of video tutorials slash guides for this brand new horror co-op game that came out. It's called Nuclear Nightmare. I have been absolutely having a blast playing this, and there are definitely a lot of newcomers. Granted, the game is brand new, so that makes sense, but a lot of people with questions, so I figured that I would make some videos just kind of shedding a bit of light, not too much. Got to keep some things fun, but shedding a bit of light on how the game works to an extent, location guides, how to, complete the objectives, how to fight back, how to fix infections, stuff like that. So I will be splitting this video up into a couple different parts, and I may drop some other videos focusing on other things. But first off, we are going to be going over the basics of the game, things like infection, how to treat infection, how to test infection, how you get infected, and what does the infection actually mean. So right off the bat, anytime a enemy attacks you, it could be a little attack, could be one that almost kills you, there's always a very likely chance you're going to get infected from that attack. Now, if you want to know for sure if you're infected, there's essentially one way to do it, other than just dying. The one way to test yourself is there will be these testing stations throughout the various facilities. What you want to do is you want to go up to the station, press E, and then you will be able to either find out if you are not infected or infected. If you are infected, trust me, you'll know. The result will be quite explosive. Now, if you are infected, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, what does this even mean? To put it bluntly, you now have a timer counting down to your imminent death and resurrection as a monster. What you want to do if you are infected is find the nearest vaccine as soon as possible. Vaccines are glowing white syringes that you can use once, or if you have a perk, twice, to inject yourself and rid yourself of the infection. If you do not, like I said, you will be coming back as a monster. And if you die from the infection, that monster will be AI controlled. If you get killed by a monster while you are infected, you will be coming back as a player controlled monster. Now, in terms of healing, you have technically three options. The first and most common option is you'll find painkillers, which look like bottles of pills. These are a little bit rare and they're quite small, so they might be hard to find, but you can find them at certain facilities, depending on where they spawn, of course. The painkillers will give you quite a lot of health back, so you might want to wait until you've taken a decent amount of damage before using them. The two other options I mentioned are they're not guaranteed. You would have to A, have the perks required for them, and B, then get them from the perk machines. The perks I'm talking about are one that allows you to eat beef jerky, which is typically used to tame huskies, but in this instance it would allow you to get a little bit of health if you eat it. And then the other perk would allow you to have a slow regeneration of health. Now let's talk weapons. So there's a couple of different weapons with different playstyles in the game. The weapons that I am aware of, I believe these are all of them, are the sniper rifle, the revolver, the flamethrower, the shotgun, the grenade, and the flare gun. In my opinion, the ones I would always recommend you grab, depending on how much you already have, I would say the shotgun is very, very good. The revolver, I think, is underrated. I'm a fan of it. It's got a very fast rate of fire, and you can hit some good headshots with it if you get good with it. The flare gun. The flare gun is a one-hit kill on a lot of the creatures. I don't know if I've seen a creature that didn't get one-shot killed, other than maybe it looks like a skinwalker or a wendigo. So I would say that those are the best ones. Flamethrower is pretty good. The only issue is you have to get up close and personal with it, unless you've got a perk that extends the reach. But getting close might mean that you kill a monster, maybe it's got the head spider, and when you kill a monster that has a head spider, the head spider will run into a random direction, and if it runs towards you and hits you, you are instantly infected and dead. So I like to keep my distance, that way if I see one of those little bastards crawling towards me, I can move out of the way fast enough. So my personal recommendations: grenades only if it's the only option. Revolver, good, take it. Shotgun, good, take it. Flare gun, good, take it. Flamethrower, pretty good. I would take it over the rifle, and then the rifle is a little harder to use, but in the coming patches it will be a one-shot above the legs, so that is definitely something to consider. You cannot reload your guns currently. Once you deplete the ammo, that's it. You might as well just throw them away. The only exception to this is the flamethrower, in which you can get a perk where when your flamethrower runs out or has low gas, the next time you use it, it will refill back to full. And that's a cooldown of, I think, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It's one of the perks. Now, perk machines are found, I believe, one in every facility, give or take, and they are essentially like a slot machine. So if you go to customization and perks, you will then see the points you have, which are what you use to buy customizations like skins and emotes, but also what you use to buy perks. So as you can see, I'm not quite there yet. I don't have all of them, but I've got a decent amount. And so every time I go up to a perk machine, which is a cola machine, like a vending machine, the game will do a random roll of all of these perks. And I will get the option to either take the perk it gives me or not take it if I don't want it. Some of them aren't great, like, for example, soft feet. I personally am not a huge fan of. It makes running completely silent, so the monsters can't hear you run, but your running speed is decreased. And I would rather be loud and able to get the hell out of there than be quiet and be at the mercy of anything that's faster than a slow walking pace. Now, if you get a perk or you reject the perk, that perk machine is now disabled for you for the rest of the game. You will then need to go to a different facility and do another roll. There is probably a chance you'll get the same perk twice if you reject it the first time, so unless you really don't want it, I would be sure to take the perks. For the most part, they've got some pretty good benefits. Some of them have really strong drawbacks, but it's up to you to personally decide based on your own playstyle which you would want to take with you. Now let's talk transportation. There are 3 ways you can get around the map. Technically 4 with a perk, but the perk one is a very odd exception. So the first and foremost way of transportation, just running, going on your own 2 legs. Honestly, running is not a bad option in the daytime. If you don't have monster spawns set during day, then you can quite easily run between locations. It'll take a little while, but it won't be super bad, unless it's like a huge gap. Running is better than just waiting around and not doing your objectives. Obviously, if it's nighttime, I would hunker down in a location, but if it comes down to it, running is not a bad option. Now, the second option and the best option in the game is going to be snowmobile. Snowmobiles are really good. They're versatile. The benefit of a snowmobile is you're close to the ground. You're probably not going to crash it. You can refill it super easily at gas stations or with a gas can if you find one. And all in all, they're just a really good bet. There's a perk in which you can press space to get a rocket boost, which will make you go faster. Definitely would recommend that. It's going to be super helpful in the game. But other than that, I would say my personal pick for the best form of transportation would be the snowmobile. Now your third option, and this one is a hell of a lot rarer and riskier, is taking a helicopter. Currently in the game, the helicopters fly pretty well, but on landing, there are some instances in which the helicopter might sort of glitch out and blow itself up, even if you do a really nice landing. So anytime you land a helicopter, even if it's the most beautiful landing ever witnessed by anyone ever, I would immediately get out of that helicopter after turning the engine off and just run away. Might as well save yourself the trouble of getting blown up with it. They're also a bit of a pain because the fuel efficiency is not the best, but as a bit of a trade-off, you can cross a big distance with them. And you can use them to go over mountains that normally you would have to go around and waste some time on. So helicopters are best used if you've got a really long stretch between the facility you're at and the facility you want to go to. And the technical exception, the fourth way of transportation, there is a perk called Jetpack something, and essentially it's a one-time use, once per game, and it just flies you 1,000 meters away from where you are. So I guess you could use that to get around, but I personally wouldn't recommend it unless you are literally about to die. Sort of like a Hail Mary. Now, with all of that sort of basic stuff out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get into the different locations. So, here we are at the medical bay. This is honestly one of the easiest locations. Super simple. Like with most, you're going to want to turn on the generator. And then you're going to want to find your way to these 3 tent buildings. Now watch out, there can be tripwires, and of course, as always, watch out for these little bastards. What you're going to want to do is look around on the tables. Obviously, there's going to be some good loot spawns. What you're looking for is a glowing green syringe. This is the classified evidence you're going to need for this location. Keep in mind, there are still going to be regular syringes, so you want to make sure that you're not grabbing those. These are the tripwires. You're going to want to make sure that you avoid them at any cost. Do not run into them, do not get close. Just press E from a good distance, and you will be able to disable them and then walk through. Although, you can use them at nighttime to try and maybe get a free hit on the monsters. Just make sure you're not close to the explosion. So, considering we've checked the other 2 tents, surely it'll spawn here. Lo and behold, there it is. And just to show a little difference, regular vaccine and the classified vaccine. Now, because it's right next to the laptop, you're going to want to make sure you kind of aim a little bit off to the side, and you'll pick it up no problem. And that's the medbay. Next up here, we have the drilling rig, as you can see. Now, this location, unlike some other ones, you actually don't necessarily need the generator. So you can walk in, get some gear from this building, although this is not where your objective lies. But it's always good to get some perks. That's a good perk. Definitely would recommend. As you can see, you still do need the generator, but if you're in a pinch, you can at least come in here, get a little bit of cover from the monsters, and maybe find some good loot. Now here is your actual main objective, the drilling rigs themselves. So there's going to be 2 of them, and you want to be careful when you're going down. You don't want to just fall to your death, right? So you want to find an easier sort of slope, and you want to make your way to these highlighted panels. So that has now started the first drill. There you go. Eventually, once that gets in there, it'll give me the objective, and we're going to go ahead and go for the second drill. Here is the second drill, and like with the first, we've got this little control panel. So, you'll find the generator at one of the 3 buildings of this location. It's a bit of a ways away. As you can see, I'm about 60 meters from the actual drilling rig ping. But once you turn that generator on, you just want to go into this building here. Oh, we've got a friend. Okay. Uh-oh. Perfect timing. Well, yeah, you just want to go into that building. You just want to go into that building. There's going to be a computer right around the corner. Don't do the green highlighted computer. You want to do the non-green glowing computer, and you'll be able to generate the report there, and that will complete the oil rig. Next up here we have the underground silo. This is probably my favorite, and honestly one of the easiest locations. It's my favorite because not only does it have a gas station right next to it, but you don't have to go looking for anything. Generator is right here, and then you just go down the very, very, very long set of stairs. So at this point, I will let you know I am playing on the easy classified difficulty. And the reason for that is because I want to leave just a little bit of stuff for you to still explore. So I won't need as many of the classified tasks to be completed, but I mean, I'll be showing you most of them, so you can figure out the rest, I'm sure. So for Underground Silo, it's very, very simple. First off, really good loot spawns in here. I absolutely love it. But second of all, we're just taking some pictures. So you want to take some pictures of these consoles, these, I don't know, whatever they are. Oh. And then you're going to run across to the other side. I'm technically doing this a little out of order, but it's whatever. Take a picture of this. Grab a perk while you're over here. That's not really worth it. And then you're going to want to go back over here and down these stairs, but be careful, there is a tripwire here. So you want to make sure you're a safe distance away. Turn it off. And then you're going to get some pictures of these. And that's the silo. Like I said, I tend to find really, really strong loot spawns here. So I would really, really recommend. I think it's a great place to spawn. And get you set up really nice early on. And yeah, 10 out of 10. Here we are at the airport, as you can see, and this is a very, very large location. So I'm going to show you what you're going to want to do here. You're going to follow these lights, get to the generator, obviously. Although for the first 3 parts, you don't technically need the generator. I would still recommend just turning it on. It saves you some time. Especially as it's getting closer to night here. So you're going to follow these lights, and they're going to lead you to this runway strip. Don't waste your time with these buildings. Wow. Can't believe I didn't notice that little worm guy. Oh, he just royally messed me up. As I was saying before, I was so really interrupted. Don't waste your time with these buildings. You cannot go inside them. What you want is actually going to be down here. It might just be better to wait for the morning to do this. As you can see, it's not necessarily lit the best. Oh, actually, hold on. Here we are. Okay. So these are the drones. You're going to want to interact with all 3. So that's drone number 1. Drone number 2 is going to be right outside from it. And in order to interact with them, you're going to want to kind of position yourself. It's a little awkward sometimes, but just look at the nose, look around. Eventually you'll get that E interact prompt. And then the last one's going to be right across over here. Oh no. I hear that. Oh, it's just a little worm. Okay. Little worms we can deal with. Now the last part, you're going to want to go back towards this airport ping, and you're going to go into the main building and generate your report. So you're just going to go past the generator, up these stairs. It's going to say it's going to Slaughterhouse, but don't worry. This is where you want to go. And it's not this really big building, it's actually this flat one to the right of it. As always, make sure you're watching for tripwires. It's not this laptop. It's the one in here. So you're going to click that. Aim a little bit above generate report in order to get it hit. And then print report. And that's it for the airport. There's some decent loot in this room, and of course there's the other building. So make sure you look around and grab what you can. So now let's talk about Slaughterhouse. This is another fairly straightforward one. Want to turn on the generator, and the generator is always in the same spot. So it's fairly easy, just keep running around the building until you find it. Alright, now you're going to have one objective over here, so we might as well get that one started. That objective is going to be on the second floor. So I want to go here, take a picture of the specimen. You can do a little bit of looting too. Some rootin', tootin', lootin'. There's a couple of item spawns here. But the main item spawns are going to be in here. Oh. So that was either a dog or a worm. Just walked into a tripwire. So yeah, here is where you're going to find the main components for the objective here. And that's going to be taking some pictures of some meat. So you're going to open those two doors, and then this is kind of easy to miss. But you want to open this door, which is clearly where the explosion happened. So this door is actually broken. Definitely something hit a tripwire. There's a tripwire right there. Just want to take some pictures of the livestock, or formerly live stock. I don't believe there's any way I'm going to be able to get past this without taking damage, so just going to do a little jump. And then this will complete the slaughterhouse. Super easy, super straightforward. One more thing to mention. When you're coming out of this room, it can be very easy to miss this tripwire because of the snow. So always, always be careful where you're walking, and don't necessarily always just be running around. This one has gotten me before. So now we are at the most technically difficult facility, and that is the research center. The reason I say technically difficult is because for this one, you need to have somebody infected and you need to scan them. So that's going to be tough, but like always, we're going to start, well, like mostly always, we're going to start with the generator. We're going to go ahead and get in one of these buildings. Anyone will do, they all connect to each other. Now if you're lucky, you'll find a worm. But you probably won't find a worm, honestly, because there's not a whole lot of luck to be had in this game. But what you would optimally have happen is somebody who is infected comes over, and then they go into this little scanning machine right here. Now, obviously, because I'm not infected, that did absolutely nothing, but if I were infected, that would have been the classified evidence you need to get for this location. Oh. What's up, dog? Guess I'm not alone. But yeah, that's this facility, man. Research center is it's a bit unfortunate. It's just really tough to get going. But yeah, I mean, if you have someone infected, if you've got a vaccine handy, let yourself get infected, scan yourself, use the vaccine, and then you'll be good to go. Alright, now we're at the shelter. This is arguably the completely easiest one. I mean, there's no generators. Bunch of loot spawns in here, and you're just taking pictures of this big old dead worm. Just go into 4 different spots and take your pictures. And that's literally it. The hardest part of shelter is going to be getting there. It's a bit of a weird path. You'd think you could just go straight from oil plant, but you kind of need to go like around and over, but you'll get here eventually, and it's that easy to complete. Alright, here we are at oil plant. This is another pretty easy spot. I'm just going to be taking pictures of these pressure gauges. You can't miss them because they're attached to these big ass cylinders. Now I believe on easy classified difficulty you only have to take 3 photos, but on regular there'd be 4. Pretty self-explanatory. Explanatory. I'm still waking up. But yeah, you literally just find the switch, turn it on, take a picture. One tap of the button E. I want to avoid assholes like that. Yeah, they love to just sit here, as you can tell. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think there's actually only 3. So there you have it. That easy. Oil plant, super, super easy spawn. Now, this is the technically most important facility. This is the satellite. And you need this to call in the extract heli, and you also need it for base camps 1 and 2. So you're going to be flicking 3 switches. The first one is at the top of this tower, you can't miss it. And then the next 2 are in these little huts. They'll be super hard to miss considering they're highlighted. And just like that, you've now connected the satellite. Good to go for base camps 1 and 2. Now for the last 2, base camp 2, base camp 1, they are so simple. Once you've hooked up the satellite, just turn the generator on, go to the buildings. This is base camp 2. Base camp 1 is going to be a little different. It's going to have the more typical 2-story buildings. Perfect timing. Anyway, you're just going to go, this laptop will be lit up. You're going to, or sorry, this computer will be lit up. You don't want to touch the laptop. Laptop's for extraction. This computer will be turned on. You're going to press E on it. And really simple, you're just going to click upload. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's going to be the same for base camp 2. And with those 2 out of the way, that covers everything about the different locations. Alright, now the last part of this guide, I'm just going to go over some basic items that you can use that I haven't mentioned yet. So, first things off, there's a walkie-talkie. Super easy, you just pull it out, use it. If someone else has a walkie-talkie, they can hear you from a long distance. Self-explanatory. Then you've got flares. Now, a flare can be used to, if you're holding it in your hand when you use it, you can use it to just illuminate the area, and if you press left click again, you'll drop the flare, and that will sort of make a map-wide mark for everyone to see, and they'll be alerted that you dropped the flare. So if you want people to know that you made it to a location okay, and you find a flare, might as well drop one just to, let them know. You've also got the motion tracker, which is pretty good. I mean, most of the time, if there's a monster coming, you'll know, but it'll give you a series of beeps that will get more intense and faster the closer the creature is to you. You've got the beef jerky, which I previously mentioned about healing, but you can use it for huskies to tame them. And the huskies themselves are quite useful because you can use them to find hidden items, stand guard, follow you, or just sit and stay in place. You don't want them to blow up a tripwire and kill your whole team, right? So sometimes telling them to guard or sit is just the best option. But anyway, that brings us to the end of this guide. So if there's anything else you want some clarification on, if you want to play, leave some comments in the comment section and I'll try my best to get back to them. But yeah, I really recommend trying this game out. It's seriously, it's like the cost of a burger at McDonald's. And I mean, it's going to do a hell of a lot better for you than just one sitting. I've had a lot of fun with it. The people I've been playing with have said that they've had a lot of fun, and the devs are really, really responsive. So 10 out of 10 would recommend, and I hope you enjoyed my guide. Take care and best luck in your matches. Have a great day.